Next story. So, survival MMO Dune Awakening wants to pull people away from competing and fighting over bases and have them battle over spice instead. Okay? I'm excited for Dune. We watched Force Gaming. We watched Force Gaming a couple weeks ago, and then we watched him again when he talked about him actually seeing it. I'm excited for this. Me and Stars talked about this on GXG about, how is it going to work? Because they're fans of Star Wars Galaxies. It's in one biome, but there are other dungeons and stuff inside the game that are actually different biomes. So I'm excited about this, but I also said, what about people just going for the crashed ships, and how's that going to work? So let's see if they talk about this here. Okay. It says, earlier this month, we learned a bit more about the survival MMO Dune Awakening base building system, namely that they claim a piece of for yourself. Now, you have to pay the Emperor for it, so you have a tax. And yep, even 20,000 years in the future of the alien planet, you still got to pay taxes. Okay. It says, last week, the Game Developer Conference in San Francisco, we learned even more about Dune Awakening player base. While base invasions by other players is a feature in a lot of multiplayer games like Rust, Ark, DayZ, and Funcom, wants to encourage players to clash in other ways. Now, one of the approaches in PvP he wanted to take in Dune was to pull people away from competing and fighting over bases and destroying each other's things. Okay? That's one of the things that I was talking about, right? I was like, if people are just attacking your base all the time, I was like, it's going to feel really weird. Okay? But instead of having them competing over resources in the world at locations, this is exactly what I said. When a ship lands, when a crash lands a big ship, and everyone's running for that, it's going to be like a crate dropping in a battle royale where guns are, okay? That's what it's going to be. It says the resources will also most often be spices, also called mileng, the drug that's also most precious resource in the entire galaxy, spice blows. Now, will occur as a world events in Dune Awakening, visible to players around the map as a huge geyser of spice erupts from the sand like a volcano, okay? During the race of harvest, these types of blows, or while trying to transport their haul, is their Funcom would also like players to battle, rather than raiding each other's home bases. Now, the question is, are you still going to be able to raid other people's bases? Okay, because they're saying they don't want you to raid other people's bases. They want you to go raid at the actual spice. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if they can limit that. Is it going to be like an instance? Is like my base going to be in like a little area where you can't get to? Like, how's that going to work? So it says, we think the PvP works best when people are vying over resources and trying to return resources to base and fighting over something that's not personal as your base, said Scott Jr., executive producer of Dune Awakening. So that's what we're trying to do here, which isn't to say base can't ever be invaded. There's a way to do it. Now, Junior said, now players use a device called the Subif console to claim land and establish their base, and the console as a shield. If you generate the shield, then players can't interact with you, said Junior. Like Joel said, you don't want to attract the people that want to kick over your sandcastle. So that's interesting. Okay, so you get to put this generated shield up, and players can't interact with you. So it's almost like shutting off the PvP stuff, right? So if I don't have the shield up, that means I want to... that's what I'm getting at, right? So, like, if I put the shield up, it's like putting a flag up saying, I don't want to be messed with. But if my shield is down, that means people can mess with. So the benefits are, who's going to put their shield down? That would be interesting to find out. Like, can I always keep it up? Is it only up on certain times of the time? Right? Does it cost money to put it up? Do I have to pay extra to taxes to get the shield up? That'll be interesting to find out. Okay? It says, if your shield depletes or you turn it off, your base will be vulnerable. Not just other players, but the damage from events like sandstorms. And as you advance through the game to move deeper into the world, you may reach a point where you want to participate in base raids against other players. So look, they've already answered the question right there. This is what I love about me coming up with thoughts and asking questions, and then right in the actual article, they said it right after. So if your shield is depleted, meaning you're going to have some resources, and you want the resources, which then makes you go out to get the resources, so you're going to fight PvP out there. If you get enough resources, then you're going to bring them back to your base. You're going to use those resources to put your base in a non-PvP setting, or you could just turn it off, or if you want to just participate in PvP as well. But it says damage from the events like sandstorms. So obviously, as you're building your base, you're going to want to put it on because you don't want to be damaged by the sandstorms. And it says advance through the game even more deeper into the world, and you may reach a point where you want to participate in base raids. Now, I wonder what gets in base raids. Because if I have a whole bunch of stuff in my base, do I lose it all to base raids? Or do I lose a percentage to base raids? Or do I don't lose any of my stuff, but whoever wins the raid, like I go to Sarge's base. I raid Sarge's base. Does he lose his stuff and it becomes mine? Or because I defeat him at his base kind of falls and I get rewarded resources for that. That'll be another interesting thing to know as well. All right. So it says in the starting map, base raids will be pretty much non-existent, Junior said. However, the later stages, which are more PvP type thing, there'll be scenarios where something like that can happen. However, the player basically has to opt into the order for what that to happen. See, now I was asking questions like this last week, 2 weeks ago, right? I was asking, is it always PvP? Can I opt into the PvP? There's going to be PvP sections, and now it looks like basically everywhere is PvP unless you have your shield up, which I'm okay with, right? So that would be one of the more main things to do when you're in the game is to go get just the base and get your shield up, whatever small hut, build up your base, and constantly get the resources that you need to keep your power shield generator, fueled up and go. I'm liking more what I'm hearing here. Okay, I'm liking a lot more what I'm hearing here, because a lot of things that bother me with games of like Sea of Thieves or even Fallout 76 back in the day, where you're walking around the thing and then people can just start kill you, right? I don't like that PvP is not opted in, right? Some people want to play games, and I understand it's a PvP section, but in Sea of Thieves, I feel like if you're on an island, like you opt out. But if you're on the boat, maybe you could have a ship battles type of stuff, right? They put a safe mode in there where now you don't have to have PvP, but up to a certain level, and then everything else is PvP. Inside of other games, you get to opt in, like New World. You leave a town, you can say, before I leave this town, I want to opt in for PvP, or I don't want to opt in for PvP. I think that's a much better way of doing stuff. Now, they're doing it in a different way, because they want you to go have PvP to get resources and whatnot. So even if you go for those resources, you have to opt in if you want the resources, which kind of have a balance issue, because I hope there's other ways to get the resources, because if it's only that and you're a solo player going up against a group, you're going to have a struggle to get those resources, because how many people are going to be on that server? How many people are going to be attacking it all the time? Different groups, 3 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups. How many people are going to be on these servers? I would like more information about that, but I really do like what I'm hearing about Dune Awakening as far as how they're partaking into the PvP/PvE aspect. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like this more, to hear that you get to opt into PvP and also protect your base with base raids, also getting the resources of spice? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like what we do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.